go. Yay.
Hey,
Perfect. So, Gabby, how are you today?
I am great. How are you?
I'm doing good as well. Thank you so much for asking. So, welcome to an episode of Chat with Dan. Thank you so much for being here. That's really cool. So, before we start, I have to give you an epic welcome to the show. So, if you have watched some of my episodes, you know exactly what I'm gonna do. If you haven't, well, then let me show you.
I feel honored.
It is amazing, right?
I see my friend Lauren is watching. Hi, Lauren.
Perfect. So, now starting with the whole interview here. Now, tell me, where does your passion for acting started? I mean, was it since you were since you were little, or it connected because of your Glee club? On your Glee club, because when you were 14, like, how did that passion started?
So it actually kind of happened by accident because until I was about 15 years old, I was an athlete. I was just in sports. I did soccer, cross country, track and field, and then I actually got an injury that prevented me from competing in the track season for the spring. And then my mom suggested that I audition for the school musical because we had seen a musical a couple years prior and I really liked it. So I ended up going in and auditioning and singing, and the teacher was like, "Oh, wow, you're really good." And I said, "Am I?" So I had no idea I could sing. And so then I did the play. It was Carousel, a Rodgers and Hammerstein musical, and I was just in the ensemble, but I became obsessed. And then I started auditioning for all of the plays and kind of put the sports to the side. And then actually was originally going to go to university for writing and English, but then I decided to change last minute to musical theater.
Wow. That is unexpected and at the same time awesome. That is really cool. Wow. You know, it's funny, right? That whenever something happens, there's always kind of a chance here to discover something new. I mean, in this case, your passion for acting. That's really cool. Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of lucky.
Yeah.
Sports injury.
True. Now you attend to so you attend the University of New Hampshire and then earn your BA in theater and dance. After graduating, you traveled to England to study Shakespeare at Guildhall School of Music and Drama for the summer. So tell me, what are some of the best memories that you can remember from that experience?
Sure. So going to England to study was something that I had always wanted to do. And then after I graduated from university, a coach of mine was like, just do it now. If you're going to do it sometime, now is the perfect time. And so I went there, and their program is just incredible. It's like the most connected to other people I think I've ever felt. Just a really well-rounded program in movement and speech and improv. And then actually one of the best things that came from going to Guildhall is that I actually met my husband there.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah. I met him the last day because we weren't in the same class. So he actually saw my performance and wanted our mutual friend to introduce us. And it turned out it was meant to be.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How cool is that? That's so nice. So basically, yeah, that's really cool. Wow.
Yeah, I always tell people, you never know where you're going to meet someone.
True. You never know. I mean, it is true. I mean, I think on those type of when that happens, it's the moment when you want kind of a relation or you're looking for love, it's never gonna happen. And when you're just basically just going by your life and just doing your own stuff, then suddenly boop, it pops, you know?
Yeah, I see him sending little heart emojis on the side.
So cool. That's so cool. Let's send him a huge shout out for him, and also let's give him some epicness here. So there you go. So let's move on. Now So after the whole England experience, then you moved to New York City, and then you spent 3 years working on theater, film, voiceover, and also doing some modeling projects here and there. So what were some of the challenges that you had when you started searching for projects in New York?
So New York was really difficult because when I first moved there, I didn't have any like what's called equity points.
Okay.
So there's the union, and the theatrical union for actors is Actors Equity, and if you have a certain like points, you basically skip everyone in line who doesn't have any points.
Okay.
So there's like a whole load of open calls, and I would wake up at like 3:30 in the morning to like get on the train and go stand in these lines, and then sometimes wait like 14 hours, and they would just send us home and we wouldn't be seen at all.
Oh my God, that's so
And
crazy.
I did that like every day for like 3 years, and working jobs, and sometimes you would go and you'd write your name down, and then you'd go to work and then come back and hope they had gotten to your number. Or sometimes they would like line you up, so they would look at you and decide if you even got to sing. And I never made it past the lineup because I was like so tall that it's like really hard to match you for like a lead role opposite a guy if you're like a really tall woman. And I didn't have an agent when I was in New York, which made it really hard.
Yeah.
I didn't get one until basically like 2.5 years in. And I did manage to get a voiceover manager. I met this casting director, and she liked my voice, so she just set up the interview for me. And so then I was able to do some voiceover auditions. And I was doing like a lot of background work back when I was there. But it was a lot more difficult in New York to find auditions and at least good paying ones. And there wasn't as much TV, film, and commercial stuff there.
Wow. That must have been challenging, right? I mean, having to wait like a lot of these hours and not being like getting the chance and all of that.
Yeah, it was
so
always disappointing when you'd been waiting, until just about the end of the day. I remember one time I had like my violin, because it was for a role that sang and played the violin, and I was like 3 people away from going in, and then they came out and said, "We're not seeing any more people."
Oh my God.
And to pack my violin back up and go back on the subway.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, to be honest, that they had like this kind of, I mean, I've heard of it, and in some of the interviews, they will mention like union here and there, but like I never knew that it was kind of that if you are not part of it, you have to wait like this huge amount of lines or hours. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of strange.
Yeah, but then in 2018 you moved to LA, and then you were still continuing, pretty much pursuing your dream, and now the time passed here. At the moment, how could you describe your career?
I definitely feel like I have a lot more opportunities here in Los Angeles. I actually was able to get an agent pretty soon after moving here for musical theater.
Okay.
And so after I moved to Los Angeles, I was able to get auditions, appointments for the stuff I had spent all day waiting in line for in New York. And so I didn't even have to wait for anything. I just would send in my video or have an appointment in person. So it feels really good here. I've definitely had a lot more opportunities in a lot shorter time here in Los Angeles than I have in New York.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Plus you have nice weather, right?
Yeah, the plus is that it's always sunny, and I never have to walk a mile through slush to get to the subway.
Fair enough. True. All right. Now, moving on here with your career on theater. Let's start with Time Enough, Athens. Tell me about that play and about your role in that play.
So that was actually my first like paid theatrical role.
Mhm.
I kind of auditioned thinking I'll never get it. I knew the play, and it's originally like a 60-year-old man plays the role of Timon of Athens.
Okay.
And so I just said, oh, I'll just try it out. But then I ended up, they decided to cast a young girl to play the role and completely change the storyline.
Yeah.
And the character actually gets like completely nude in Act 2 because kind of, if you, not many people know, it's a Shakespeare, but it's not one of his popular ones. But the character kind of gets taken advantage of by all of the people in their life and ends up retreating to the forest and kind of removing all of society's expectations.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I just thought, well, sure, I'll do that on the audition form because I'll never be this role. And then I was like, well, I guess I am doing it now. And it was really fun and like liberating. And I just thought, well, if I could do this, I could do anything now. And the character has like 698 lines, which is like pretty crazy. It's one of the Shakespeare's larger roles. So that was really fun, and it was in New Hampshire, and all my college professors came to see it. So
cool. And tell me how you usually prepare a character for a play.
So what I like to do is go through and figure out what the character's intent is and everything, and also kind of develop like a backstory, but not just like a backstory, like what is their life like outside of what we see in the play, so that there's specific memories to connect to in the play for people to see, and they might not necessarily know what you've invented, but it's something is there. And then kind of the line memorizing becomes a lot easier once you know everything about what the character's about and what really drives them.
That's so cool. Wow. And now tell me about The Odd Couple. I mean, what did you enjoy the most about that play?
I really liked that play. It was actually the first time I got to work at like the big repertory theater in town, and the character is like a really fun, peppy girl, and you know, the Pigeon Sisters are not in a lot of The Odd Couple, but when they are in it, it's like really fun, and it's a period piece, and you know, like historical pieces are what got me into acting. So it was really excited to wear all of those really cool costumes and the hair and makeup. I do a lot of like 1960s, 1970s kind of stuff.
That's so cool. I mean, the fact that in theater you get the chance to experience like those type of costumes, or the fact that you were going to play like in any specific time, and then you get the audience and you pretty much exploring the world with them. I mean, it must have. I mean, I'm super sure that it is kind of an exciting feeling, right? To have this play and to see how you're building this connection with the whole audience. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was really fun, and I knew everyone from it, so it was a really fun time.
That's perfect. Now, tell me about No Tears in Hell and about your character, and also a little more about that project.
All right, so I'm not going to give too many spoilers. I actually see the director, Michael Casey, is watching right now.
Yeah, okay.
And it's not out yet, but it was a super fun time. Michael's probably going to be like, how much can I say? I'm not going to say too much, but it's based off a real person.
There you go.
And I don't know how much I can say, but I really enjoyed it.
Let's leave it simple. Yeah, let's leave it like that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed getting to play. The character I play is a homeless woman, but I really got to explore bringing that kind of character to life in a way that is humanizing. You know, sometimes when you see people portray homeless characters in TV or film, you know, it's kind of a one-dimensional thing, but Michael actually did a great job. There's a lot of characters in the film that are homeless, and he did a great job making them such wonderful, relatable characters that you know, you really feel for them and you're rooting for them and you want the best for them. And I will say it is a horror film.
Okay.
So the best doesn't happen for mostly everyone.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay, so we have the exclusive here, right? I mean,
Tatiana is also in that film, who you interviewed earlier.
Yeah. Also, huge shout out to her, and shout out also to Michael here if he's still watching. Yeah, we need to send. Yeah, I need to send another epic vibes here. So here we go. There you go. Oh, I love doing this. That's amazing. Yeah, and yeah. Moving on. Tell me about my house, and which is, I mean, so that you just filmed it for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. So tell me about it.
Yeah. So that is it's sort of like a play film hybrid where we filmed it in front of a live audience all in one shot. Because of the COVID restrictions, we weren't able to actually go initially to Edinburgh Fringe and perform the show because, you know, it's very difficult to get over there right now. So we filmed it in the house. It actually takes place in the story. So it's based off of the screenwriter's house that she lives in, was home to a lot of celebrities and famous movie actresses, writers. Charlie Chaplin's ex-wife, Lita Gray Chaplin, actually built the house. And then lots of other people live there. Carol Lombard, William Powell. I play Yvonne Romaine, who was a 1960s screen actress, and she was married to Leslie Bricusse, who most people know him from writing the music and lyrics to Dr. Dolittle and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Not the Johnny Depp one. And so that was really fun. 1960s. I got to do a really like fun character, but also, you know, she's dealing with serious issues that a lot of women of the time went through, which was that, you know, their husband didn't necessarily want them to be super successful because, you know, there's a certain idea of what a woman does, and she stays home and she takes care of the family. And so even though she was a really talented actress, she did give up her career to stay at home and be a wife and a mother. And so it was cool to get to explore that. And it's actually available to stream on the Edinburgh Fringe website right now until the 30th. So I think that's like 4 more days. So if you are watching and you want to see the show, I don't know if Lisa's still here or Azim, but Lisa's in it and Azim worked as part of the crew. So it was super fun. Azim is still here. And yeah, it's just lots of different time periods and super fun time. And we did actually get to go, 3 of us went to Edinburgh to promote the show last week. That is epic.
That's awesome. And do you have that link so we can?
Yes,
so we can
I have that. I can send it to you later.
Yeah, send it to me later so I can put it on the description for the podcast and on the YouTube and on the YouTube video, so then they can check it out. Awesome. Now, tell me about Amish Vampires in Space.
Yes. So Amish Vampires in Space is a pilot that I have written. It's based off a book series that I've optioned the rights to. So it is a really, really cool sci-fi thriller about this Amish man who has to make a choice basically between what he believes is sacrificing his soul or saving his entire community from doom. And so he does make the choice to save them and calls for help into the void, and some people come to rescue them and bring them onto their ship. And then it turns out something else is also on the ship, which becomes loose. And starts to wreak havoc on the residents of that spacecraft. So right now I'm just trying to kind of get it in the right doors and, you know, pitch it and hopefully sell it. Hope that you'll all be watching Amish Vampires in Space on your streaming service of choice in the next few years. So
that's amazing. Let's make it trendy here. Let's make sure that project gets produced as soon as possible. That's awesome. I like that idea.
Yeah, I read the book, put it down, and literally emailed the author and was like, hello, I would like to buy the option to your book. It's great.
Perfect. That's awesome. Now, tell me, what has been the character that took you the most to perform?
I'm gonna have to say that probably honestly, that first role of Time of Athens was kind of the most difficult one for me because, you know, it was a really big part, like bigger than anything I had to do in the past, and overcoming various obstacles and having to portray a character that loses their mind but still make it relatable to people watching, so that it wasn't just craziness but they could really see where that character came from.
That's awesome. That is amazing. And would you say that in each character that you have played so far, there are parts that could describe a little bit about your personality here and there?
Yeah, I definitely think so. You know, I think it's kind of hard to play any character that isn't in some way like yourself, because even your perception of what that personality trait is like is coming from your own self. So I think that everyone can imagine, even if they're seeing some sort of crazy character, what it might be like, what would drive you to be like that, or what would, you know, sometimes you're really peppy, or you know, you can draw on basically anything to create the characters. But yeah, I think something about me is in everything I play.
That's cool. That's awesome. Now, what do you think it's important for young actors to know when they recently started their acting career?
I think that they should know, like, this is something that I heard from a casting director that completely changed how I looked at auditioning, because I think a lot of actors are kind of not excited about auditioning or feel bogged down in it, or they just want to get the role. But this casting director said every time you get an audition, it's like you've been cast in that role. Even if it's only for this scene or for a couple of minutes, you know, you've been chosen out of thousands of people to get to perform this audition. Yeah. And so you should come at it as you're performing the role. It's not a rough draft. This is, you know, a performance, and you're basically auditioning to see if you get to perform it again.
True.
So I think that really helped me, you know, just kind of look at it as more of an exciting opportunity instead of, now I have to do this and I don't know what they want again. It's like you get to choose what you're bringing to this character and show them what you have.
Preach. That's awesome. Wow. Now, besides, I mean, so you're also a singer, you're a model, so let's start with your singing career. Now, where the passion for singing comes from?
So I think it started out, I just sang kind of like by myself at home. As I was actually like really shy when I was younger, and I felt more like, I can express myself with singing, and when I didn't really know how to have the words, and I used to try to see like how loud I could be, which I'm sure my parents didn't appreciate very much. But I just feel like you can express so much more with singing than you can with speaking. And I mean, that's kind of, I guess, the whole point of musical theater is, you know, when the character can't speak anymore, they sing. So it always kind of came pretty easily. So I'm not a very good voice teacher. I cannot explain or teach it. I know what you mean. There are some things that you're good at, but it's complicated when you try to explain them or teach them, right? I can relate to that. And
What do you usually like to sing?
Usually I like to sing musicals. I also really like Ed Sheeran. It's probably like very basic of me, but yeah, I really like Ed Sheeran. And I've really been into Waitress. I'm a little late to the whole Waitress musical trend. Also, Ratatouille the musical. I don't know if you know Ratatouille the musical, but I've been very into Ratatouille lately.
That's cool. That's cool. Now, I have a question here. If you could describe your career in a song, what would be the title of it?
Ooh. You know, I'm going to go back to Ratatouille the musical, and I'm going to say it's going to be like the song, gosh, I don't even know the name of it because I just watched it on TikTok, but it's the one where Remy gets to Gusteau's place.
Okay.
And he's singing about how excited he is, and he just expected like a small sign, but now he sees like this huge marquee, and he's like, I'm gonna be there. It's gonna be me up on that marquee. So I'm feeling a lot like Remy the Ratatouille, where I've just I'm like, I see the sign now.
Yeah. That's so interesting. That's so cool. And about writing, tell me, where does your inspiration to create your own material comes from?
I think I just like have so many stories and ideas. It probably comes from ADHD, but every second I have a new idea. But I feel like there's so many things that I want to talk about and explore, and usually I'm like writing kind of thriller horror type stuff or horror comedy. So I think that I kind of like making the grotesque like a joke.
Okay.
So yeah, just like when you're acting, of course you get to explore all these characters, but sometimes you're not in a role for a really long time, and I don't like waiting, so I just make something for myself to do. And if I want to play some sort of character, okay, I'm gonna write that story, and I'm gonna write that short film or that feature, and try to put myself in it and explore different characters that maybe somebody wouldn't cast me in when they just see me right off the bat, but I can see myself as that.
That is amazing, and that is very inspiring, because you're pretty much taking for example, something that happens to me. I'm a very hyperactive person, so every now and then I will start to, for example, when I'm like editing something or putting some questions, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna put this, and then I want to put that, and then while I'm doing the questions, I'm also editing, and while I'm editing, I'm also checking for the, like I get like, it's so interesting that when you get the chance to use like that on your favor, and to do something about it, it is really cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to always trying to harness that energy.
There you go. Yeah, true. That is really cool. And my last question here, in like, so your career is basically amazing. I mean, you have been into a lot of cool things. You have done a lot of epic things. So tell me, what motivates you? Like, what inspires you to keep going every day, and to not stop your creativity goes? Because we all have days in which we want to like pretty much throw the towel and don't want to do anything else for the rest of our lives. But tell me how you deal with that in order to kind of keep yourself going.
Well, I always think, I try to reflect on, what if I had quit before the last thing I just did, and I wouldn't have gotten to do that thing. And so every time it's like I get to do something better and better. So if I don't keep going, I won't ever know what the point is that, I could have reached. And I guess I just don't even think about quitting. Like I've always been like that. My grandpa always would say, never give up. And unfortunately that didn't work to his favor, because he never really wanted me to go into acting. But I said, Grandpa, you always said never give up. So I'm not giving up.
That's so
cool. I just think there's so many, like, if I could, I would live like a million lives. Like, I don't know if you play The Sims, but right now I'm doing like the Super Sim challenge, and it's like you have to complete every quest aspiration in the games. I feel like that's like me in real life, is that I want to complete like every character's aspiration.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, right? When you will be old, I mean, when all of us will be older, we want to make sure that we live our lives the way we want it, right? That if you look back, you would be happy because you did all the things that you wanted, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I always feel like the most excited when I'm on set, and luckily it's gotten to be more times on than off recently. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. So we will definitely be. So you will definitely be on the acting business for a long, long time, right?
Oh yes, for sure.
That's amazing. Well, what can I say? It is amazing. So because of that, because of that, if I can describe your career right now, I will be saying this. Yeah, definitely, your career is amazing. I'm so excited that we had this interview. Your whole content, it's really cool. I mean, if you haven't checked all of Gabby content, you definitely need to check it right now. So check his website, check all of her work here, because what you do is really awesome. It is really amazing. I mean, I can't wait to see more of your awesome work here and there, and definitely keep inspiring people, because as I said here, as I was saying, that the fact that you've been through so many things, that you pretty much went to England and then came back, and then you moved to New York and then to LA, and you're still working on it. I think that is inspiring, and we definitely need more people on that. So keep being that awesome person as always, and also make sure that you're following Gabby in all of social media. What I would suggest is that if you're watching this later on the YouTube video or on the podcast, you could put pause, hydrate, and then follow Gabby. Leave a lot of likes here and there, and then definitely come back on the video. And I will leave all of her website and all of her social media here and there on the description, so you can check it for sure. And before I send you off, I need to give you a lot of epicness here. So the level 2 of epicness, it's definitely this one. And again, keep being amazing, because you are definitely a rock star here. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on. I was super excited, and especially even more excited after I watched Tatiana's interview.
Yeah, she's awesome. Also, make sure that you follow with Tatiana. The YouTube video is gonna be there soon. I mean, I'm currently working on all of them now. But it's gonna be there soon. Make sure also that you're following her. She has a lot of cool content, and she's promoting a lot of cool movies here and there. And we have a lot of amazing guests coming tomorrow. And before I send you off, well, I need to give you the basic epicness level here. So again, thank you so much, and here we go. So
thank you.
An amazing rest of the evening for you, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you. See you.
Bye.
Bye.